Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Nurse Laconda, and today I'm going to do a video on taking the CCM exam. That's the Certified Case Management exam to get your certification. So I want to make this video because when I wanted to, when I started looking into doing this case management exam, I had went and searched around and tried to find some videos to give me some type of insight, and I couldn't find too many. It was very minimum. So I said, I'm gonna make this video. Maybe I could be a help to someone who's about to take the exam for the next time, which is coming up in August. So the Certified Case Manager exam is an exam for case managers. It's for exactly what it is. It's for case managers. So to the criteria qualification to take this exam is that I think you have to have a license. You have to have a bachelor's degree or higher, and you should be working in the case management field for at least 1 year under somebody who's certified with the CCM. Now, I read on the CCMC website that if you work for 24 months or longer, you don't need to work under a supervisor that has a CCM. But either way it went, my supervisor does have a CCM, even though it's been over 24 months since I've been working in the case manager realm now. So I could have did it either way. But so I'm going to go over a few things that I wrote down just to help out people. So I took it for the April window. The April window is from April 1st to April 30th. Now, you have to have the application done and approved between November 1st, which was November 1st of 2021, to January 31st, 2022 was the application window. And to take the test for April. So I actually I'm such a procrastinator. I actually did the application on January 31st. I remember doing it. And you have to, when you do the application, you have to put in what college you went to, what type of license you have, your license and everything, and the job. I had to give them my supervisor's information, email, phone number, her full name. And so then I think a little while after that, I don't know how much time it took, but then they sent me an email saying I was approved to take the exam. But at the time of application, I paid the fee, and don't quote me because I should have looked into that, but I think it was like $300 and some to take this exam. Luckily, once I get my paperwork in the mail or whatever, showing that I passed it, I will be able to get tuition reimbursements back for this, for the fee that I paid for the test. But anyway, so, the window for the April test is November 1st through January 31st. And you can take it in April. It starts April 1st to the 30th is when you could take the actual exam. The next window is March 1st to May 31st. That would be for the August testing or exam is from August 1st to August 31st. So if you want to take this test in August, you need to hurry up and get it paid for and application approved before, well, you just have to do the application before May 31st. The approval can come after that, but the application deadline is May 31st, 2022 for the August testing of August 1st through the 31st. And then the next testing is December, and that window opens July 1st to and closes September 30th. So so I paid for I did the application on January 31st. Then I got an approval email after that, sometime after that. I can't remember how long it took. Then I ordered the book. I did order the book. And the first book I ordered was helpful, but not as helpful as the second book I ordered. The first book I ordered was this book, the CCM by Asencia. I can't say it. But anyway, this is the first book that I ordered. Now, that book was helpful. It was. But when I ordered this book in February, and I was casually studying, kind of like every night before I go to bed, I'll look at a chapter or whatever, but not really. I was casually studying. I wasn't really focusing like I should. And I had this book until I studied this book until maybe the middle of March. Okay. So then time is winding down. It's the middle of March. I end up getting this book, and I'm so glad I did, because this is the book I think really helped me pass. And also I got into the Facebook group. It's a Facebook CCM certification group that I got into, and they really promote this book. So I said, let me get this book. But I'm glad I got this book. This book is by a nurse like me. Her name is Dina Cooper Gillingham. She's an RN, and she's a certified case manager. She really breaks down this book and make you understand it. So once I got this book, I better understood what I was studying. But I'm gonna tell you, and please do not be like me. So like I said, I casually studied, and I started like February, just when I got the book. And it wasn't really the beginning of February either, but I got the book sometime in February and start the first book that I showed and start casually studying. Really wasn't retaining it. Then I ordered this book, and I didn't open it up at first. I still was looking in that book. And then I wasn't grasping the concepts like I should. So it's like I wasn't even prepared at all. I remember looking at the calendar, and it was April 4th. And I was like, oh my God, I don't think I'm gonna be ready to take this test. I started like stressing out. I'm like, I don't think I'm ready to take this test. I don't think I'm gonna pass. I think I need to reschedule. At the time, I don't think I took it serious, because I didn't even know that like it was a window. Like I thought I could just reschedule and take it in May or whatever. No. So actually, when I looked on the site, it's like, yeah, you could reschedule, but what, you gonna reschedule for the next day? Because it's over April 30th. And I took the test on April 25th. So I was like, maybe I can get a few more days in. So I looked around, and it was no test dates open that was convenient for my work schedule or whatever. So I said, forget it. I'm just going to stay with this April 25th date, and I'm going to just study. So, and also you can't take this test at home now. I guess due to COVID, I don't know if you always can take it at home, but I know that they're really strict they're strict when you go in, but they're really strict if you, take it at home. And I heard that people got disqualified if something was in the background that shouldn't have been, or somebody walked past. It's like they're really strict. So I opted to take it in at the facility, because I know that sometimes, I work from home every day, and I do get distractions sometimes. Not like that, because my kids are at school, but I have dogs. Somebody walk past they never saw before, they gonna bark. Amazon dropping off a package, they gonna ring the bell. My family order a lot of stuff, so the bell is always constantly ringing for packages, or it's not constantly, but I just didn't want to take any chances. So I opted to take the test at the place, which I think was the best thing for me, because at the place is very structured. My test was scheduled at 12:30 that day. I got there. I was not playing. I couldn't sleep. I was so nervous the night before the test. They say get a good night's sleep. I couldn't. I tried. I couldn't. And so I got up that morning early, which I could have slept in, but I didn't because I was nervous. And I got dressed at like 8 o'clock. Now my test ain't to 12:30. I got dressed at like 8 o'clock in the morning. At first I was gonna cook some breakfast, this and that, but I didn't. I went to Starbucks, got me like a chai tea latte with a shot of espresso because I didn't get any sleep. And I got me like a sandwich, like a turkey Gouda, something, I don't know. But I got me a sandwich And I ate the sandwich and drank my chai tea latte, and then I headed on over to the place. So I got to the place. Now, I got to the place at 11 because it wasn't that far from my house. I'm in Illinois. I took the test in Indiana. So it wasn't that far from me. So I got there about 11. And so I sat outside and just looked over my book before I walked in, because they say check in. Now, this is what they say. They say check in 30 minutes before the test. And actually, yes, that's a good thing, because I actually went in there at 11:50. I went in there 10 minutes before they say come in there. And the process was a lengthy process. So when I first got there, I'm thinking like, oh, it's 11:50. My test ain't to 12:30. I'm good. So I went to the front. Like when you go in, you go to a desk. They have like a key that you can go out to the bathroom. So I went and got the key and went to the bathroom, because of course, if you finna sit for a long test, you want to empty your bladder. So I went and used the bathroom, came back, and it's like 12, a little bit before 12 noon. So still 30 minutes before the test, I'm in there. So you have to go up there to them. They're going to ask you these questions. Take out your ID. They're going to tell you to lock your belongings up. So you lock your stuff in a locker. Then you get back in line. The problem was when we got back in line, they have to do a check, a wand scan, front, back. Check your, like I had on a hoodie. They had to check the inside of the hoodie. They had me lift up my pants, check inside, my pants, make sure, checked all my pockets, jacket. I mean, that's a process. I mean, I understand why I'm not, I wasn't upset about it. It's just a process. So you might need to get there before 30 minutes, honestly, because actually I got in that line at 11, probably 11:55, 12 noon. By the time they set me down, I think it was after 12:30. So, but it was cool. Like it wasn't a problem, because the tests don't start till you sit down anyway. So, they actually sit you down. They're very structured, very professional. The people were very nice. Now, let me get that straight. They were very professional and they were very nice. It was very quiet. And see, that's the thing I need, quiet, so I can concentrate. And so when they you have the canceling noise, they had the noise canceling headphones, and they explain everything to you. Like if you go to the bathroom, your time keeps going. That's why I'm glad I went prior. Your time keeps going. And it was a lady next to me. She was so fidgety. Like she didn't distract me because I had them canceled, but I just noticed her walking back and forth. I'm like, maybe she taking another type of test, that her test stops and she could take a break, because I think some people tests do allow you to take a break. I don't know, but this woman kept going to the bathroom. I'm like, what is wrong with her? At least twice. That was too many times for me, especially if the clock is ticking. So I guess her clock stopped. So, but mine didn't. They tell you when you go, before you go in that room to take that test, they say your test does not allow you to stop. If you go to the bathroom, raise your hand, but your time will keep going. I'm like, well, I went anyway. Ain't no way I would have been able to do that, because I'm the type of person, I got to read the question like 2 or 3 times. And that's exactly what I did. And so we sat down. You get 180 questions. 30 of the questions but you don't know the 30 questions. 30 of the questions are not accounted for, only 150. They say those 30 questions are like some test questions that they are trying to see if they should be a good fit or something. I don't know. But when you decide to take this exam, you can look deeper into that if that's something you're concerned about. But I know 30 of the questions is not, you take 100, but 30 is not counted toward the test. Only 150. And so, you sit down and the clock begin. The best thing to do, and through the CCM Facebook group, they said make sure that you do that tutorial before the test. And yes, you really should do that tutorial, because it show you how to work the mouse, how to strike out answers, how to go back, how to flag an answer. And I had to flag a lot of answers because I want to keep moving. So if it's something that I didn't quite understand or didn't have time to keep looking at it, I just flagged it and went back to it. And another good tip that I did for this test is that I struck out the answers that I knew was wrong. And with this test, you might have 2 answers that just off, and then it's 2 that looks very, very good. Very hard to distinguish, but you're gonna pick the best one, the best one you can, because that was the tricky part. Now this test I sat for my nursing state board, and that was hard. Tests are just hard, and this was hard as well. This wasn't easy. And I'm glad I did commit at the end, and I overly committed. But please don't be like me, because then you won't have a life. Because the last couple of weeks I haven't been able to do anything but study. Soon as I get off of work at 4, I go to my basement where I'm at now and shut the door and study. Because, my house, my kids, my son be on the game. He's emotional on the game, and he make all types of weird loud sounds out the blue, And then my husband, if he's watching the games have been on lately, if he's watching some type of game, basketball or whatever, he make he make outbursts, and it is just, once I get an outburst and I'm studying, it throw me off. It throws me completely off. And so my daughter, she make funny noise. So she sings, or she got her music kind of playing. You can hear through her door. So I said, let me just go to the basement. Don't even try to study upstairs, period. Go to the basement where there's no noise and it's quiet. And that's what helps me. So this is the thing. So this is how I broke down studying for this CCM exam. I am a person that, if I write it down, it imprints in my head, and I have to be able to verbalize it. That's just me. This is the way I study for nursing school, and this is the way I understand. So when I get a concept, I have to be able to write the concept down after I learn it, put it on paper, and be able to verbalize it. And that's the way I learn, and actually it's been working for me. Because I passed my nursing state boards on the first time, and I passed this test on the first time. So I think that works for me. So what I do is, the first thing I did, even though I read this book, but I didn't finish this book, I'm not gonna lie. I read this book from the beginning to the end, and this book has 300 and some pages. The back is just the glossary and everything. No, the back is just I don't know what it is, but it's just like terms and things you need to know or whatever. But so I didn't read that part, but so I guess I went up to about page 361, because at the end it was a test of 150 questions. So I read this book from top to bottom, from the beginning to the end of the questions. And the first time I read the book, it's like you still don't understand. But when I went back, after I read the whole book and then went back and skimmed through each chapter, broke down what each chapter was telling me, because it's 5 concepts to this case management thing. It's 5 concepts, and they are, I'm going to tell you right now, hold on. The 5 concepts. And then in this book, the reason why I like this book, because the first chapter tells you about sitting for the exam, like the stuff I just went over. Like the application window and all that. But I knew I did all that before I got the book, so I didn't even read that first part. But for somebody who want to get the book, then do the application process, it'd be good for them, because it tell you everything you need to do. So this book starts off with chapter 2 with the information that you need to study. And that chapter is the care and delivery reimbursement methods. And they said this is the largest part of the test, the care delivery and reimbursement methods. And in fact, this is broken down into 2 chapters. And so what I did, I outlined the chapter, and the bold, what was bold and underlined was like how I understood what was coming after that. So basically I just outlined the chapters and went into each. After I read the whole book, I outlined the chapters and went into each part of the chapter and kind of highlighted what I think was good, what I needed. So that's what helped me. And then it really helped me because I've been a nurse for a while. A lot of this stuff I've been seeing all along and doing too, especially now in my role. I do a lot of this stuff as a case manager. So I was like, it was kind of like it made sense. This test, this exam, or studying for this exam, just answered some of the questions that maybe I didn't know when I worked in the hospital, because I didn't deal with that side of things. But I used to be like, oh, that's what they was doing. Or when I was a nurse manager of a rehab unit, I dealt with a lot of this case management stuff. But some things I didn't know the in-depth part of it, because other people might have handled it like the business office or the admission office that handled certain things. But then now I'm seeing like, oh, that's why she would ask me that question. Or that's why we did that in these meetings, this and that I really didn't. I knew what I needed to do for my part, but now I'm understanding the whole part after I studied and took this exam. Now the pieces make sense to me in the roles that I previously played as a nurse case manager, even as a floor nurse at the hospital, and in my current role, hospice. A lot of hospice in here, and as a case manager now. So that really helped. Let me see what else. I just want to make sure, because like I said, I didn't see this on YouTube when I was searching, like how many questions. Like the questions is standard of 180. Like I said, 30 is not counted. You get 3 hours to take the test. If you walk away from the test, the clock still goes. What else? Oh, like I said, that Facebook group, when I tell you that Facebook group was wonderful, especially when she had, it was a guest speaker that talked, and then she's been a case manager. Her name was Nancy something. She really helped me understand, and she really helped me. The way she explained it, it really helped me. And when I took the test, I heard her voice in my head from the stuff she said in that Facebook group, and I'm like, she said that, so a lot of little things. Now nobody ever told nobody no questions. Okay, you can't talk about the questions. That's against the CCMC's regulations or whatever. You can't discuss the questions of the test, period. You can't talk about the questions. Now we could talk about like the book we read or whatever, but you can't talk about the questions on the test, period. Let me see. So, yeah, I think that's really it. So once you do the application process, you'll get an email after you pay and do the application process. You'll get an email saying you're approved or not approved. If they tell you approved, then I think you could pick the date and the place. You could pick like what area or location you want to go to. I picked Indiana because that wasn't too far. And that's it. Then you start studying, but don't do it like me. Really study. Don't wait till the last minute. I really, like I said, April 4th, and I took the test April 25th, and April 4th was the day that I really started studying and really realized that I got to start studying. And so my study habits were, I'll say out of 7 days, I probably study 5 to 6 days a week, 4 hours plus at the end, because I waited to the last minute. Some people say they didn't really do that. They just study like 2 hours a day or something like that, but they started way ahead of time. If you're going to wait to the last minute, hey, it was like rush, cram. But I really did. When I did study, I really did study. And the best thing, I think, like I said, the CCM Facebook group was very, very helpful. And just taking questions, doing questions. That helped me in nursing too. When I passed my nursing state boards, I would just do questions, because it gets your mind in the test taking mode, and it actually helps you be able to, be able to wean out questions. And the good thing about this test, it had a strikeout feature, and you could strike out the answers that struck it out. So you only looking at the answers that you might think it is, and then you could focus on those two. Like, yeah, then look at it. And then she said that one thing that lady said in that the CCM Facebook group, she said, read the question twice. And you know what? You better, because you might miss something that accept, or I don't even think they doing accept no more. They were saying they're getting out of that, but you might miss something on the end that you should have saw. So definitely read those questions twice. That really helped. Striking them out really helped. And flagging them. So I flagged the questions that I just didn't know it, or I just didn't know off the top of my head, and I had to go back to and kind of think a little hard on it. I flagged them, and at the end of, when I got done with the whole test, I went back to those flagged questions and kind of focused on them. And I did get through before my time frame. Not too much. So yeah, so I'm so glad that I passed this CCM certification exam. I am now a board certified case manager once I get my credentials. They said you cannot use your credentials until you actually get them sent out to you, and I think it takes about 6 weeks or so to get sent out after the end of the cycle, is what I heard. Don't quote me. Please go on to the CCMC website for information. They have a lot of resources on their website too, because another thing I did that was very helpful to me was I downloaded the glossary app on my iPhone. I also paid $9.99 for a quiz app from them, and all that helped me. That was all test taking. And the glossary, that really helped too. So if I'm sitting down getting my hair done, if you sitting down getting your hair done at the shop, pull out your iPhone and you can look at the glossary, or you can pull out your iPhone and do a quiz real quick. I don't, if you can, but the glossary, you can do that pretty much anywhere you sitting down at, if you're not at home. And so that helped out too. So hopefully, I'm trying to see if I missed anything before I end this. So I talked about the glossary app on your iPhone, and these resources is on the CCMC website. I haven't really got into the renewal process yet because I'm just so frantic that I just passed it. So I'll be looking at, I think it's every 5 years, and you have to keep up with your CEUs to renew it. But yeah, so we got to get CEUs if you're a nurse anyway, so it'll all go to that. But let me see, I think that's it. Yeah, the test was hard. It was not easy. Don't be fooled. It was not easy at all. But I think if you study this, I'm telling you, to me, Dina book was the best. Dina Cooper Gillingham. I might be saying it wrong. She's an RN CCM. This book right here. This book, I got it off Amazon too. You could get it off Amazon or whatever, and it came like couple of days, a day or so of my Prime. This book really helped. I just like how she breaks the chapters down, the bold part, and then underneath it you kind of know what you're gonna look at, and you could just outline, take your highlighter and highlight the very important concepts. That's what you got to do. And look, please, this book, and I ain't getting nothing for promoting this book, but it did help me. This book helped me so much past this CCM certification. If you have any questions I know I keep saying If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. If you plan on taking this comment if you plan on taking this CCM exam. And if you have any questions that I can answer, please put them in the comment section. Please, I'm going to be making more videos. Please like my channel, subscribe to my channel, and I will present more information. I'm going to try to dive deep into nursing and do other things too, because I do like hauls and things like that. So thank you so much and goodbye.
Keep on walking straight.